Nice beaver.
Thank you. I just had it stuffed.
Let me help you with that.
I've heard police work is dangerous.
It is. That's why I carry a big gun.
Aren't you afraid it might go off accidentally?
I used to have that problem.
And what did you do about it?
I just think about baseball.
What's going on, everybody? Welcome to Season 3 of the Rhythm Section Podcast. We're here to shine a spotlight on Greater Memphis and North Mississippi's vibrant music community by unveiling the incredible stories of our talented artists. Produced by SRP Studios, elevating brand visibility and credibility for businesses using podcast marketing. Go to srpstudiosllc.com for a free consultation.
Tune in every Wednesday morning for fresh episodes on Apple and Spotify. Join us at 6 p.m. Central on YouTube and Facebook for Wednesday video releases. For all other details, visit therhythmsectionpod.com.
This episode of the Rhythm Section Podcast is presented to you by Hempville CBD Southaven, whose mission is breaking people's dependency on big pharma. A big story coming along with this one here in the intro. Discover life-changing CBD products and Delta-8 THC alternatives to opiates and prescription medicines.
Use promo code TRS20 for an exclusive 20% off purchases at hempvillecbd.com and enjoy free shipping for orders $50 and up. And please visit their store at 562 East Goodman Road, Southaven, Mississippi.
Follow them on Facebook and Instagram, and catch the Hempville CBD podcast on Apple, Spotify, and YouTube. Its purpose is to give you hemp education and market awareness. The best way to support that educational podcast is to subscribe to the YouTube channel. Click the link in the description and hit that subscribe button. Visit hempvillecbd.com for all information. What is going on, Jeff?
Man, happy to be back in the saddle.
It's great. It's good to be here. It's good to have the cameras back.
Yep.
What's going on, everyone? To watching? Yes. If you're out of the loop or you're brand new, last season was audio only, but we brought the video cameras back. Yep. Glad to have it kind of back to normal. Studio has a tad, different look. In terms of my background.
Yeah.
So you can see.
Nice little Easter eggs back there.
Accoutrement, as they call it, behind me. And Jeff looks the same.
Yeah, no different. Still just as ugly as ever.
So it's good to be here. We're recording this on January 14th as we await the winter festivities, snowfall that they're threatening to give us.
For this area, it's blizzard-like conditions, I'm sure.
So, good to be here, Jeff. Good to see you.
Man, yeah.
We've been hitting some interviews over the last couple of weeks, but, we got a couple strong weeks off through the holidays. Hope everybody had a great Christmas. Happy New Year. Happy 2024. Welcome to the other side. I'm ready to take it on. My saying this year is pedal to the floor in 2024.
Yeah.
I've been annoying everybody with that. I'll throw it in Facebook comments.
Yeah. I'm ready for springtime.
Me too.
Like, as far as I'm concerned, January 2nd could be the start of spring.
Agreed.
Yeah.
All right. Down to business here. Today's episode is Chris DaBaldo 2.0.
Love it.
Guitarist and founding member of Saliva, or, former member. And as you know, he closed off season 2, and we left too much on the table.
Yeah.
We only got like halfway through his career with Saliva. We invited him back, threw him in front of the cameras, and we had another great interview. His wife sat not on the show, but she was here. The great, the sweet Amy DaBaldo was here, so we got to meet her.
Yep.
And we dug deeper into Saliva. We'll get more into that later on before we hit the interview, but awesome. So we were glad to have him back. Next week, we have Sarah Spain from Landslide, a Memphis tribute to Fleetwood Mac.
Yep.
Man, she was great.
Another youngster that is wise beyond her years.
My goodness. So, I mean, I could go tit for tat with her on Beatles,
Yep.
trivia. It was awesome. And Pipeline. we got our friends Kevin Kost and Kevin Greenberg from Generation X coming up after Sarah. So we got plenty more interviews booked.
Yep.
We don't like announcing them until they're actually filmed. Yeah. But so far, that's what the future looks like here over the next few weeks. So,
and we've got a lot of big names that are booked too. We can't wait to tell you about
we can't wait. It's going to be a good season. All right, well, Hempville CBD Southaven. Let's talk about how that happened.
Okay.
All right.
Because this is news to me too. I'm just going to sit here and take it all in.
I told you how this all went down.
No, you didn't really. No, I'm not in depth.
Oh, Jeff.
Okay. I'll hear it again.
You do not remember the podcast meeting we had last week about how we all went through this?
Proceed, sir.
Do you know who Hempville CBD is?
I do.
Do you know what CBD is?
You may have told me, but I don't honestly know. I mean, I know it comes from the plant.
But have you ever tried it?
Oh yeah.
How? When?
Yeah.
Oh, I know.
Yeah.
We've tested the product.
I don't know how much of this I'm supposed to divulge on camera. So, yes, I have tested the product. It was pretty amazing.
Oh, we just leave it all hanging out there. We're just having an on-air, podcast meeting.
All good.
Okay, so Hempville CBD Southaven is owned by a gentleman by the name of Ben Cooey. He, thank you, Ben. He is a client of mine. He and I joined up late last year, and he bought a full season of podcast episodes for a new podcast he's starting called
I remember all this now. It's
the Hempville CBD podcast as a way to, like we say in the intro, it's hemp education on cannabis,
right,
and how it all works, market awareness,
right,
what to look out for, what to gravitate to, the difference between what he offers and then what dispensaries offer and recreational and so on and so forth. So it was it's launched now as you listen to this. Episode 3 is out there. Go to the description. All the links for the podcast are there. But while working with Ben, we built a great relationship. Great guy, great podcaster, having never done it before.
Right.
I'm kind of his coach, but also co-host in a way.
Yeah.
I'm on the show, but it's not Ben Cooey and Derek. It's Ben Cooey. I'm there to help facilitate and throw in some follow-up questions to him. I'm a sounding board for him. So when he's talking for 10 minutes straight, he's talking to me instead of just the microphone, So I'm on the show. You hear my voice. You'll see me in the video. But that's the purpose of the podcast. So as that relationship built, I was like, hey, man, you want to maybe talk about what I got going on over here?
Right.
And he loved the idea. We think that the audience is quite fitting.
Sure.
For a place called Hempville CBD.
Right.
We're going to continue to, every intro obviously is going to have an ad, but you and I are also going to talk about, our endorsement of it and learn more about it. But if you want to truly learn for real, I mean, Ben is so educated in this. He's studied it for years.
Right.
He's not a store where you just walk in and they just want to sell you.
Yeah.
He's educated. His staff is educated. They're there to teach you what's best for you. So go check it out. Go to the hempvillecbd.com website and find all the links there and check out that podcast. So thank you, Ben, for being with us and being our title sponsor. So you're going to see the Hempville CBD logo pretty much everywhere I can put it. Right. On thumbnails and promo clips and mentions. So, and any Facebook posts that you see me put out there for this podcast, you're going to find his links. The deal,
maybe a kick drum logo for Generation X. That might work.
If you go order online, you get 20% discount by putting in TRS 20.
Right.
Okay. TRS 20. I think that's a great idea. What's also great about that and what's important about that is Ben's way to gauge the traffic that this podcast is building for him.
Mm-hmm.
So clearly if someone puts in that promo code, that tells him, oh, that came from the Rhythm Section podcast. So not only are you giving him business, but you're helping us in a big way. And then free shipping, $50 and up.
Nice.
It doesn't take much to get to that $50 mark.
Yep.
And then you're good to go. So,
and look, public service announcement. If you're a novice at this, like I am, listen to what the guy tells you as far as how much to take.
Yeah.
Because if you don't, you're gonna have some.
We'll just
real
say
fun.
Yeah. There's a thing.
If I had taken a whole gummy,
yeah,
I'd still be sitting at my couch in front of the TV 2 weeks later.
Well, I made that mistake. And let's just say if you can handle 100 milligram gummy and go on with your day,
you're a veteran.
Hats off
you're
to
a
you.
veteran.
So peel off the head, the forehead and ears of the gummy bear and just start there. But that's it, man. So thank you. We're looking forward to having this partnership with them. We have band sponsors coming up too, coming up here in a few seconds here. But first, Jeff, before the show, we were talking about, updating on your band. Let's talk about Generation X. What we got going on?
Well, I mean, it's just we took quite a bit of time off throughout the holidays, as most people do. And next Sunday, we get back in the studio to get to rehearsing. And we're looking forward to it, man. We're working on new covers. We're going to work on some original material. And we've got some shows booked throughout the year. Not enough, but we're working on that. We're going to book some more, and we're ready to get back out and play. We're ready to play a full show of Gen X.
A full night.
But we do have a show coming up with the Boneyard. If you guys haven't heard them, man, they are killer.
Awesome band.
Alan Bone and his band, there's a couple of the guys from Every Mother's Nightmare in there with him, and they are just spectacular. And I'm looking forward to sharing the stage with them.
Mm-hmm. Toys in the Attic.
Yeah.
They crush it.
Yeah, they do.
And Jeff begged me to help him out with the bass player seat in the band. Begged me.
Begged him.
I finally was like, okay. So I am I'm kind of your Friday night guy.
Yeah, our normal bass player, Jason Dixon, he works nights, so he can't do Friday gigs.
Right.
And we cleared it with him, and he said, sure, if Derek wants to step in for me on Friday nights, then bring it on. So I'm looking forward to being able to jam with you again. I miss that.
Yeah,
so.
and I'm looking forward to it, too. And Jeff did not beg me for that.
I didn't have to.
You didn't have to. I just threw it out there.
You jumped on it. It was all.
No, on paper, it was a great idea, but now I got so much shit to learn.
That's how it works, man.
All right, well, let's move on to our bands, shall we? You know what? It's the wrong music, but I'm going to roll with it.
Yeah, roll with it.
This is how we're going to start off season 3.
With the wrong
You had no idea the story of our new sponsor.
Right.
And I'm playing the wrong music.
Hey, it works.
This is our original theme song.
It is. It's been a minute.
Good stuff. Free from YouTube.
Yeah.
Area 51, everybody. Friday, January 26th at Dan McGinnis from 9 to 1. And Saturday, January 27th at Hadley's from 9 to 1. And from Lance Binder, he sends me the dates. They're working on some new material. They're going to be adding some new things.
Nice.
He didn't tell me the songs. I think that's government level protected right now. Top secret. But,
Josh Haynes could tell you, but then he'd have to kill you.
Follow Area 51 on Facebook at Area 51 Memphis.
Shawn Few, we appreciate you, brother. First Saturday of every month at Neil's, second Saturday of every month at Hadley's, and last Saturday of every month at Dan McGinnis. And those are all formerly known as?
Yes.
Yes, all formerly known as bands. And follow Shawn on Facebook at Shawn.Few.7. And I figure any day now he's going to come out with a polka band and something like that.
But it's outstanding having 3 residencies like that.
Amazing.
That is great.
Yeah.
Seeing Red is back with us this season as well. Saturday, February 10th at Lafayette's Music Room at 9 p.m. And then Saturday, February 24th at Rail Garden at 8 p.m. You can follow Seeing Red at seeingredband.com.
Yep.
Kind of like that music for the...
It does all right. Yeah.
So let's talk about what...
It's good Hempville CBD
what
music.
it's supposed to be is. So that's pretty cool too, though. Ladies and gentlemen, Jeff Ward, everybody. Woo!
Love it.
So maybe we'll switch that up. I don't know. But Chris DaBaldo 2.0.
Yep.
So cool to have him back in here. He was nice enough to bring us some CDs of one of his projects post Saliva.
Evolved Through Scars, and I don't know if you've had a chance yet, but I listened to the first track on this CD.
Is it good?
It kicked my ass. Dude, it is so good, and I can't wait to hear the rest of the CD. If you guys have never heard his other bands that he's been a part of evolved through Scars, Blackbone. Chris has been involved in so much over his career, and he's never put out anything bad. This guy is amazing, and these bands are amazing.
And we talk about post Saliva. That was another part of the reason why we wanted to do a second one with him. We just left too much. There's too much to talk about.
And look, he's such an open book. It was great. He let us ask questions about things that you might not think he would want you to ask questions about. And we cleared it on the front end to make sure, because we don't ever like to throw anyone under the bus. But, separating from Saliva was a big deal, and there's stuff there that you definitely want to hear about. And,
he goes into why he left.
Yeah.
We talk about their performance at Wrestlemania 18, which, of course, I enjoyed.
If you haven't seen that, go check it out. It was epic. I had not seen it because I wasn't a huge wrestling fan.
Yeah.
But when we were talking to him and he said that they played that, of course we had to go check it out. And it
was awesome.
Amazing.
It was great. They gave him the whole half of the arena.
What a production.
What set the tone with Chris, which was so much fun, is if you go back to his first episode, check it out, last season. As we do, when we hit record, me and Jeff just turn everything on, we get it settled, then we sit down, and then we talk for a few minutes, and then we're like, okay, we're going to start. Boom, we go in. So we're doing that with Chris, and we're just shooting the shit, cutting up, and we're actually having a pre-game show prep here, and talking about, hey, I want to ask you about this, and context. We're showing them songs like the nerds we are and everything. And then he's like, have we started yet? And I'm like, no. He's like, fuck that, man.
Just leave it.
Keep all of this. I want it raw. I want it raw. We're like, okay. So anyone that was confused by how that podcast started, that's why. We're like, oh shit, we'll leave it all in, Yep. But this one, we're kicking right into this one. So he made it very clear he was open to answer anything, and we did. We were fascinated by Saliva as a whole, but to speak to someone that was at that level in the record business, fascinated by it and how that worked and what that was like, and it's exhausting. It's a lot of hard work.
Yeah, people don't realize the work that goes into it. You see the glamorous side of it, and you think that that's all it is, and no, it's a full-time, kick-your-ass job, and it's
kicking you in the butt.
Yep. And we also got to meet his wonderful wife, Amy.
She was very sweet.
She was here.
She makes an appearance at the very end of the video. She pops up on the camera.
Yep.
So you get to see her too.
Yeah, and we talked about their son, Ryder.
In the Air Force.
That was, And he's thank you for serving our country, Ryder. We couldn't be more appreciative of that.
And they're very proud of him too.
Yep. As they should be.
Yeah. So, and then we made sure that Chris left with as much merch as we could give him. So he went home with a mug, hat, and shirt, and stickers, I think too.
Yep.
But also, Chris, thanks for autographing those CDs you gave us. He autographed a CD for Lance Binder.
Yep.
What was the band? I don't know.
It was Blackbone.
Blackbone.
Yep.
So thank you for that. Thank you for your time. He throws a little nugget at the end saying that Josie has listened.
Yep.
Enjoys the show. So if you're still watching or listening, Josie, 2446 Caffey Street, Hernando, Mississippi. Come on down. Give me a call.
Yes.
It's all on the Facebook page. Right. We'd love to have you.
Love to talk to you as well. All
right. So I'm going to switch it up. So now I'm going to play the band music as our segue music.
Okay.
All right.
That works.
We're going to maybe we'll keep it that way. I don't know. But look, everybody, thank you for everything you've done for us, you, the audience, through the last 50 plus episodes. We're happy to be back.
Yeah.
Stronger than ever. Kicking ass in 2024 from the get-go. That's a big part of that is Hempville CBD Southaven really making this work for us. So go to the website hempvillecbd.com. TRS 20 for 20% off at checkout. Band sponsors Area 51, Seeing Red, and Shawn Few and his gaggle of bands.
Yeah, we can't thank you band sponsors enough either. It means everything.
It does. It's so cool that y'all are playing along with us and helping support this. Facebook has cracked 1,000.
1,100 now, I think.
Yes.
It's growing.
Some interviews have already been recorded, and we bring up Facebook where we're like, hey, come on, let's get it to 1,000. So,
Great Scott!
The timeline thing, but officially we're telling you got us to 1.1. Awesome. Instagram, over 100 now. Both are at the Rhythm Section Pod, and then, of course, the rhythmsectionpod.com.
Yeah.
is where you need to go. And Jeff, what kind of homework do you want to give people?
What am I supposed to do here? You caught me off guard. What am I
Go see a band, everybody.
There it is.
Yeah, let's go see a band, everyone.
Sometimes.
We're going to re-record this, Jeff.
No, we're not. Thanks, everybody. We love you.
We love you all. Thank you, and Happy New Year.
Eat some snow cream.
Let's crush it.
That's what I would like. I would dig the shit out of that. So yeah, man,
Well, let's get started, everybody.
Yeah.
So, Chris DaBaldo, man, how are
Yo.
you, sir? Thanks for being here again.
Thank you so much for having me.
Man, yeah.
So we've just left too much on the table for your last interview, and we wanted you on camera. We want everyone to see your pretty face.
Yeah, we don't like leaving things on the table.
So how are your holidays, man?
Oh, good, man. Good, very good. Spent time with family. My son was in town for a few weeks.
Yeah, I saw that. Yeah.
Had a really good time with him. He got to see his friends.
And he's in the military?
Yeah, he's in the Air Force, yep.
And where's he stationed?
He's at Albuquerque, New Mexico.
Yeah, that's a hike.
Cool.
Yeah. I've been there a few times.
And he drove, he flew in, but when he went back, he drove his car. So he has his car now. So he's pretty freaking happy about
That's
that.
cool.
Nice.
That was probably quite a drive, too.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's a hike. Yeah.
And he did it all in one push, man.
Wow.
We tried to tell him, or he's 19, he's an adult. You can't tell him,
Right.
But we tried to direct him.
Sure.
Hey, maybe break it in two. Get a hotel or stay with a friend. He tried, but didn't work out that way. So he just kept on going. I was like, man, dude, you're a stud, man.
What it would be like to be that age again and be able to drive that far. I got to stop and pee every 15 minutes. So
the longest I've done, my longest solo is 14 hours.
Yeah.
14.
From the coast of North Carolina to Memphis.
That's a push.
So I'm getting my kitty cat hairs.
That
on them.
sucked. That was bad.
Yeah.
But,
Yeah, I think traveling and touring back in the day, I'm not doing that now, but back in the day, there were times when we do like 19, 20 hours straight.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
I mean, with breaks, of course.
Yeah.
But, after a while, after 15 hours, man, the eyes get a little wonky.
Oh, yeah.
But you get used to it, We've got friends like, Scott Willis and Matt Healy and stuff like that, and Blaine McGee, and, they're our boys that we grew up with, in Millington and Tipton County and Memphis and stuff. And, they're always the biggest troopers, man.
Yeah.
Hardest workers. Been with me since high school, played in bands, worked with our bands, and, always roadied and stuff like that, and engineered and whatnot. So, yeah, they would get to driving, too. They take up the slack,
Well, look,
That's what
man,
you got to do in a band, man.
Yeah.
Oh, dude, as a group, I've been in vans and trucks and buses for hours. But when you're solo by yourself for 14 hours, or like your son did, in my world, it is so much junk food. My diet, the one that's already bad, gets worse. Just to bide the time, and I found if I'm getting sleepy at the wheel. And I'm like, I got to keep going, but my eyes won't stay open.
Yeah, what do you do?
Sunflower seeds.
Sunflower seeds. So.
And just chewing on those.
That's
and
true.
The activity. Bam,
I will back
wakes
that
me
up
up.
because I used to eat sunflower seeds a lot, and I'd keep a big old pouch,
Yeah. Sunflower seeds on one side, tobacco on the other. Big chipmunk.
I haven't done that in a while because I take in a lot of salt and sodium as it is, So I guess maybe I was trying to cut back.
After hours of seeds, your skin feels puffy, and you can just tell it's too much salt.
But you're right. Now that you mentioned that, I think back, that works, man. So now,
does.
the older I get, I just slap the shit out of myself.
Sometimes, crank window down, slap your face. Sometimes that's not enough. Like it won't wake
The
me up.
window for me is not enough. The air conditioner, the cold air is not enough. I have to literally slap the shit out of myself 3 times. For real. And that usually works.
You get a red mark across your face. Amy's like, your wife Amy's like,
she's
did
like, what are you doing?
Slap you? Who are you hanging out with?
Normally, she's right next to me.
Well, she is today off camera.
Yeah.
We welcome Amy to the
There's
studio.
my lovely wife, Amy.
All right. Thanks for being here.
She's so awesome. She's my world.
Yeah.
She does so many amazing things. So many amazing things, dude. I'm like the luckiest man that ever lived.
Well, I mean, your family on social looks happy and cool, and I follow y'all now. I know you finally logged into Facebook after years.
Sorry.
All right, man. Well, look, we want to cover all kinds of stuff here. You know, we want to go back to some of the bands that we missed that are. That was my pinky, y'all. Well, I guess, I mean, are those back, you know, was there love in the air for those bands? But
memories.
But so we missed some pre-Saliva stuff that Jeff, you know, and you coordinated on as far as some bands to talk about.
It was actually post-Saliva. We hit all the bands pre-Saliva.
Egypt Central, that was pre. Was it?
No, that was post.
Oh, okay.
So let's hit some of those bands again. Jeff, I'm going to, because you wrote them down and everything.
Well, I mean, you brought us an amazing CD of All Through Scars, which, full disclosure, I didn't know about this band at the time that this took place. I was in a country phase.
Yeah,
I was listening to Clint Black and Tracy Lawrence, so I was out of the rock.
Well, you made me think of when you said that earlier today. Just to give everyone a tease, I want to then we go back into Saliva, you know, like we discussed. You know, I want to talk about the back nine. Of Saliva and where things are.
Start off where you want to.
How it got to where everyone is out and all that stuff. And then I'm dying to know what it was like to play on Wrestlemania. I saw the video. It was awesome. But I want to know how that all came to be and what it was like to be there.
You want the PG the public version or the
no.
Behind the curtain version?
We want the Chris DaBaldo version. Yeah. So, but what band do y'all want to hit first?
Well, we can start with Egypt Central.
Well, don't you want to finish with Saliva, like the second half of the Saliva thing?
Let's start there. Let's go. Yeah.
Okay.
So we left off. You know, you guys you got the I can't remember. Did you go with the big company or the smaller one?
Yeah. So we just to be clear, we never had like two options. I mean, that's just what a band has.
That's
they have
right.
an independent or a major.
Yeah.
We didn't have like two offers, one from each.
Sure.
We had a major label offer.
There you go. Yeah.
So yeah, we went with Universal Island Def Jam, Leo Cohen.
Yeah, and we talked about the auditioning process and all the different showcases y'all did and everything, and then broke into, you know, early Saliva. Let's start branching in through the career. You know, now you guys are signed. How many albums did you do with the label?
Did I do with them, or how many did we get signed for?
Let's do the ones you're on.
Let's see. We got signed for 7. I did 5 records with them.
Okay.
That's including the beginning, the Black album, that album that, you know, that we did on our own that helped get us signed and whatnot.
Yeah.
So I think that's it. I think I did 4 major label and 1 indie, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah. Yeah. Every 6 seconds, Back Into Your System, Survival of the Sickest, and no, wait a minute. Am I missing something?
Putting me on the spot.
Yeah, no, full. You don't remember that? Yeah, every 6 seconds, Back Into Your System. Is that right? Is that number 3? Survival of the Sickest? Yeah. So 4 albums.
Yeah. Oh,
not 5 albums, 4 albums.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Up to 2004.
Sorry about
right?
that.
No, it's all right.
I have a Millington education.
So now you guys are in the heart of the career. The band's cruising along. Let's say album 2 and 3. You know, what is the world? What is your world like? What's the band's world like in the flurry of being a major touring act?
It's a lot of fun, but it's mostly work. You know, you get up. If you have a day sheet. Usually, if you're on the road, you have printed out day sheets for the next day or the next several days. That's, you know, the tour manager's responsibility.
The itinerary.
Yeah, itinerary. You may have a few. You may have anywhere from 1 to the whole band, or just a few members that are supposed to go out and do press and radio and media the next day, and all that's mapped out. You know, there'll be cars there to pick you up and bring you back.
So when this is going to be interesting to know, when you guys do a full band interview but I would gather usually the singer talks the most, you know, certain members. What's the dynamic like if the band isn't getting along and then you have to sit through an interview and listen to people talk in the band?
It depends on how professional you are, you know. After a while, you learn to just, you know, stuff things and not let it interfere with, you know, the job at hand.
Because you guys are living together.
Yeah.
This is not, I mean, this is not a fun little just side project. This is a career.
Yeah.
And there's 5 guys living together in a very small area. And I would imagine that there are days when you want to throat punch somebody.
Oh, yeah. There are days when we do throat punch each other. And there's usually, unless you're like, you know, filthy rich, then you usually probably have crew on that bus too.
Sure.
You know? So you're looking at about 10 guys.
Crazy.
And there's not a lot of space on those buses when you have 10, 12 people.
There's only 12 bunks at most.
Yeah.
Right.
You know, but some of those need to be used for like overflow of luggage and stuff like that.
Yeah, the junk bunk.
Yeah, exactly. Junk bunk.
Yeah, you gotta.
But the singer always gets the biggest bunk. The singer is the tip of the spear.
Or does he get the back lounge to himself?
You know, he could. I'm sure if he really wanted to force it. But you know, thank God I never had a singer that acted like that.
Okay.
He knew the importance of community party room.
Him being
back there.
Josie.
Yeah.
Just anyone.
Yeah, no, he was good. He was the fearless leader.
So what was the brotherhood like in that band? I'm sure like every brotherhood, there's phases, ups and downs.
Yeah.
You know, what was it like in those first couple of years? Was it all honeymoon?
Well, I tell you, you know, if you make it that far, you know, and actually get signed, and get all the other signings and deals and stuff, if you make it that far, chances are really good that y'all are really good friends and that you don't fight much.
Right.
Like Saliva, we didn't really fight much.
Okay.
You know, we had, and that's what the thing that was so cool is the chemistry. You know, each person brings a certain frequency to the group. And if you take one of those people out or change them out, you know, can it still be good? Sure. But is it the same? No, it's not. It'll never be the same.
Well, you guys shot a really cool music video for one of your biggest hits. And for some reason, the name of the song is escaping me, but it was a power ballad. And you guys were on a bus for a lot of that video.
Rest in Pieces.
But that's it. Rest in Pieces. Great tune.
Thanks,
and what a great music video, because it showed a lot of that road life.
That's what that's what the director and us were trying to go for.
Cool. It was neat.
Which is always interesting and fascinating to a young fan. You know, Metallica was always transparent throughout to this day. They always put out good docs and show you what's going on behind the scenes. And that's really cool. And their music just got me so hooked. I was in.
Yeah, I've always been into that, man.
Yeah, me too.
Always been into that.
Yeah.
But we you get along for the most part, you know. Only years later when you've been on the road up each other's butts for like 2 years straight,
Right.
You know, minus a few days or a week here and there, you know, break or whatever. But for the most part, you're out there, you know.
What was the? Sorry, go ahead, Jeff.
I was going to say, when you guys, you mentioned the crew actually being on the bus as well. Did you have a separate rig for all of your gear, or was that something? I know you guys had to have gotten to the point where you had
I'm sure you had trucks.
Huge gear, and you had different trucks that were carrying all that.
Yeah, usually a baby band or just a mediocre, or not mediocre, but mid-level, non-baby band, non-super famous, you know, band. For the most part, you have a bus or two.
Okay.
And one of those buses or both of them are pulling a trailer, pretty big, you know, trailer.
Yeah.
Now, when Back Into Your System came around and the song Always, you know, was number one hit in all 3 rock formats across the board. When that came out and after that did what it did, you know, we went to 2 buses and a tractor trailer, a couple tractor trailers for the equipment and stage gear and
bigger crew.
Crew got a bus. Yeah, we had our bus. Crew had their bus.
That must been helpful to have a little more space?
It was nice. Yeah. Yeah, it was nice, man. It was we were living the dream, you know.
Oh, I'm sure it was amazing.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun. It's a lot of work though.
Yeah.
Yeah. So let's talk about all the work when it comes to albums. So you have, what's the saying? You have 10 years to write your first album, and then they want you to start churning them out.
Yeah, then you have your whole life to write the first album.
Yeah.
You know, the material, the ideology, the emotions into that first album. Then you got 6 months to, you know, write everything else.
It was that quick a turnaround?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Well, we, you know, with us particularly, you know, I always kind of said I wanted to kind of emulate Kiss in a way, and the way they did things. Because if you look back at Kiss, how did they stay? I mean, of course, it was a different time, and you know, media was different, and there was no internet. But you know, there was a lot of mystery to you know bands back then. So you could really push that you can give that long legs to a project or a band. Kiss would always put out a record like at least once a year.
Yeah.
Right. And I always thought that was really cool, and I think that really helps a band stay in front of, you know, things.
And it gives you reason to tour. And you have a new thing to tour on.
Exactly. And if you do happen to have a not so great record or whatever, you know, every band is allowed that one record from what I've, you know, understood in the industry from labels. Every band is allowed one, you know, okay record.
Yeah.
And if you're putting out something like that once a year, then that helps also.
Redemption is around the corner.
Right. Yeah. Just get back in there and have at it.
And put another one out there and they'll forget about that one.
Yeah. Redemption.
So what was the writing process like for your sophomore album?
Oh, wow. We went to Bearsville, New York, which is basically Woodstock. The original Woodstock. It's upstate New York, the Adirondack Mountains, forest. You know, we were in some cabins. We went to it's a studio called Bearsville, and REM and what's that other band that was recording up there? Something. Big bands. I can't remember.
Matchbox?
Right. Matchbox 20. Thank you. I almost said 21 or something, but Matchbox 20. Yeah. They were there in the next studio while we were working in our studio during that record, and we'd always see each other, you know, from across the way. We didn't go hang out or talk or nothing, but like I said, you know, everybody's kind of just keeping to their own, but they're like
Saliva and REM hanging out. That's an interesting
Matchbox 20, yeah.
Well, that too. Oh, REM it wasn't both.
That's where all Bearsville is where all the records were done for REM.
I got you.
But during that time we were there, Matchbox 20 was there.
Gotcha. But that's still an interesting hang.
Yeah. So you've got mountains, you got rocks, you got, you know, trees everywhere. It's literally in the mountains of the Adirondacks and upstate. And
does that help with interrupt like things to jar your concentration, and that way you just get out there and a little more free?
It does. It helps. You know, you've already got them before you go into a major studio. You've already got those. You've mainly got the songs picked out, and most of the arrangements are pretty.
So you're writing on the road for album one.
Always writing.
It just So it's just ideas pop up and you're demoing and
mostly you keep it up here in your noodle. You know,
really?
If you're smart, you'll record it or jot it down. Not saying I'm smart, but you know, you have to, you know, hell, your answering machine at home, you know, Josie and we would do that all the time. You get an idea or a riff or a melody, you have no way to, you know, record it or you know, keep it. Just call your home or your phone and spit it on the answering machine, and
that's classic, man.
Come back to it.
Now you just pull up your little voice memo on your phone.
Yeah.
You know, you got everything you need in your phone now. But
that's how Click Click Boom melody and hook came up. I'm pretty sure.
To a voicemail?
I think it was saved to a voicemail. Josie's his mother's house, his home. But he had a dream. I know he was dreaming at that time. I was like, you know, a lot of times musicians will get really cool melodies and bits of music through the dream state, you know, while they're dreaming, REM or whatever state. And And we were doing that. That was happening to us, and it happens, I'm sure, to every musician or even non-musicians. They get this, melody, and usually it'll wake them up, but then they'll go back to sleep and forget about it and lose it. So we kind of pushed ourselves to have a notepad or a recorder next to our bed. And whenever that happened,
just capture it
immediately, because you're not going to remember it. It's like dew, in the morning.
Yeah.
The more the sun comes up, the more it just disappears.
Yeah.
And that's exactly what it's like. I mean, from metaphor state, but.
So the sophomore album is every 6 seconds, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I'm going to.
No. The first major label is every 6 seconds.
Oh, so back into your system.
Back into your system. Yeah. That's the one with Josie holding the boombox on the front of the cover.
Yeah.
And that we filmed that in Chinatown up in New York.
So who produced album 2, and were they pretty liberal on letting y'all do your thing, or was there ever a moment where they were trying to change you?
Well, there's always a give and take. Bob Marlette. It was always Bob Marlette. He was, in my opinion, he's the 6th member of, the original Saliva, the real Saliva.
As a producer should be, right?
Yeah. Just like you look at Linkin Park and the guy that was with them all the time. He was considered their, additional member. But Bob Marlette is his name. He's in California. Amazing songwriter. Guy is like super talented, and he's super cool, man. Super, super cool. Kind of looks like the guy the main guy in The Big Lebowski, what I'm talking about, with the beard.
The one with the
dude.
Yeah, drinking the White Russians.
Yeah. That's what he's like, dude. You see, that's like if you were standing next to the dude or hanging out with the dude, you would be same comparison, same vibe.
So how long were y'all in the studio for that one?
Usually, for a major label record, you're usually there for a few months, anywhere from 2 to 3 months.
Cool. Are they coming in periodically to listen to and giving
if they give a shit about you, they will.
And then giving you comments, critiquing, maybe changes?
Well, the label does. The label hires the producer, and I'm sure whatever conversations they have between them is between them and management and whatnot. And then they kind of dictate that, or maybe not even say anything about it at all. They just kind of, direct. That's what a producer is.
Mm-hmm.
He takes something that's good and he makes it great. Yeah, that's the job of a producer. And kind of a director too. They just like to direct. They're natural directors.
So it sounds like a positive experience.
Oh yeah, dude, I love it. That's one of the biggest things I miss. The biggest thing I miss is performing. That whole connection and that passion and that energy, and it's really a big release. Music recording, video shoots, and stuff like that. It's a lot of fun.
So WrestleMania 18. Now we need to geek out about some wrestling. I think it was 2004, 3, right? I looked it up. So, but where in it is it during this album, Back Into Your System, or where does it sit there?
It's during that record.
Okay, so clearly that record comes out, and you guys are making waves in order to get that gig, right? So, how did it come to the table for y'all?
When we first got with our guys in New York, the label, we kind of made it known very early that, we're all from Memphis, Tennessee, and from the South and all that, and so we grew up, we're steeped in professional wrestling product. Mm-hmm. And we just kind of made it known that, hey, we really want to put out an olive branch out there to, WWF at the time. It was WWF. And they were just starting to cross over into WWE name change. Mm-hmm. And, they're both in New York. Our label, WWE, they're all there. They probably all fucking know each other, Vince McMahon, Leo Cohen, and all that shit. Mm-hmm. So we really we'd like to work with them, and we'll do whatever it takes to be their band. And they took us up on it.
That's awesome. Look at that. If you would have never spoken up,
we may have gotten a show or something, but we wouldn't have been like we were. No, we had a really good working relationship.
Did you meet Vince?
Oh yeah, hell yeah!
yeah.
I met the whole family, dude. All of them. Yeah, Vince, Linda McMahon, Stephanie McMahon,
Right.
and I just had the son's name. What's his name?
Shane.
Shane. Thank you.
Thank you.
How did I do that? I'm not even the wrestling geek in this room.
Did you meet Hulk Hogan and The Rock? That was the main event there?
Absolutely.
Wow.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's cool.
Met all of them. Was friends with Lita and the Hardy Boys, for like on a personal level. You know, me and Lita struck up a friendship, you know, for several years, and would just talk. And she'd be like, "Oh, I'm in this part of town," or "Oh, I'm in this state," and you know, we would all hook up. And she was dating Matt Hardy, so I mean, it was completely platonic.
Yeah.
At any point, did you smell what The Rock was cooking?
The Rock, I tell you, man, dude, yeah, he's very, you know, he comes in when they come in, man, you can feel the air shift, you know. The professional wrestlers, that whole organization is some of the most friendliest, open-hearted, welcoming but professional business I've ever seen or been around, had the pleasure of being a part of. Just absolutely professional, 100%.
Yeah, well, I mean,
does that mean they don't party? You know,
yeah, for
afterward?
sure.
No.
Well, I mean, Vince has stood the test of time, you know, and still to this day, he's not as involved. But to do what he did, you know, it's incredible.
Yeah.
And then I think wrestlers in general, because they're independent contractors, that, you know, they have issues with each other, but they're all like brothers, like a brotherhood. Like we gotta be cool and maintain and get out there and perform together and tell a story.
Exactly. You're right. It's a lot like a band touring. Really. They take their show on the road. You know, and all their wrestlers are their racehorses. You know, or the company's racehorses. In the music industry, it's, you know, you've got all these bands. Those are racehorses themselves. And you know, of course, there's going to be some hiccups here or there, but for the most part, you know, we all bunk with each other. You know, we all like share hotel rooms or whatever. They may beat the shit out of each other, and it's real. I mean, the pain and the beating is real.
Oh, for sure.
No question.
Oh, yeah. I never call it fake. I hate it when people call it fake. I mean, it's predetermined, it's storyline, but these jokers are just
they're
putting their body through some serious shit.
They have to be at the top of their athletic ability and game to be able to do what they're asked to do.
They're like live stunt actors in the round in front of 20,000 people, and you don't get a second take.
And they're so professional; they can rewrite stuff on the fly.
Oh yeah.
Like I was watching them rehearse. You know, like before, like at the Wrestlemania 18 thing. I would watch them kind of just rehearse, and they would just get up. A couple of them would just get up there in the ring and be like, "Okay, you know, whoop 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 whoop. Okay, you do this, I'm gonna do that," and then boom. Yeah. All right, see you totonight.
Yeah, working out the finish. We'll fill the rest in.
Yeah. So,
what was it like on a band front as far as what's it like to load in and set up and sound check? What kind of system did they have for that?
For for
that performance,
all that shit is like beyond my pay grade, man. I mean, I can answer that question, but when we get there, it's all set up.
It's already done.
But we use our equipment. We get there, you know, our crew, our guys load up and set up our shit like we've always been setting up our shit in the last.
Yeah, because if anyone hasn't seen it, they gave you the entire end of the arena where the wrestlers walk out of. I mean, you got the whole thing, massive LED screen above y'all's setting. I mean, it was,
dude,
you weren't off to the corner. They gave you a production.
Yeah, if you haven't seen it, just go search it out. Wrestlemania 18 Saliva. It is one hell of a production. I mean, it is.
And the mix is great too.
Yeah.
It's unreal.
So we start off, I mean, it's, you know, you've got the lady who does the very beginning. This is WrestleMania 18, blah, blah, blah. And introducing Saliva, Island Def Jam recording artist, Saliva. And then we open up, you know, the whole event and like do a half a song or a full song. You know, they're doing the background. And then either we do another song or they come back and they start the wrestling. And then throughout the whole 3 or 4 hour event, we we come out and do play certain songs.
Gotcha.
Now we made it known to them that we were open to being written in any scripts they wanted to, any events. So,
have you practiced your flat back bump, Chris DaBaldo?
No, but I do. I will tell you that when they slap, when they slap,
chop,
when they do that. We had a good friend who was a trainer, Tim Ash, I believe, and he was one of the wrestler trainers there at that time. And we were hanging out at his house or something, going to pick something up. And one night, and I said, "Man, I always wondered what that felt like." He goes, "You want me to?" He goes, I'm like, "Yeah, dude. I do want to feel it." And he read back and did that, and it was like, bam, dude. I was like, "Oh shit, dude!" Heart.
That's a sting, man.
And he goes, and I didn't lay into it, like I could have.
Yeah.
Like, I know. Trust me, I know. You don't have to tell me.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was badass.
Ric Flair was one of his moves was the chop, the backhand chop across the chest, and you just see the guy's chest get all red. And it has a pop to it. There's no faking that. You are getting a hand slapped across your chest.
Yeah, I mean, that could stop your heart if you're not, trained for. You're not in shape
or
for that.
They miss and hit you right in the Adam's apple.
Yeah,
throat punch.
Yeah,
throat punch is right. So, how'd you feel about the performances, but yours specifically? What was your sound like? Were you playing this amazing thing, but like, man, I can't hear myself in the mix and all the same bullshit that you always get?
Well, that answer is connected to. I was cool with my performance and the whole thing, but I hadn't been to sleep yet. I don't even know if the whole band had been asleep yet, but because we had like early 5:45, 6 a.m. Stage call or camera call where you have to be camera ready, like make full, what you're going to wear, what you're, everything. 6 a.m. But the night before is kind of a story on its own. I was hanging out with Lita and the Hardy Boys and Jeff Hardy and Matt Hardy and a bunch of other wrestlers, and they had a big shindig that night.
Oh, they were partiers.
Yeah, well, yeah. Especially who I was hanging out with. But we didn't know that. I mean, I knew that they would. They're for the most part they're clean compared to rock guys.
Yeah. Well, Jeff Hardy has had a lot of addiction issues. For sure.
Yeah. He did, and I actually taught him how. I know is he playing music now? Because during that night, I showed him how to write some songs and put some songs together on the guitar.
Notice Jeff went to the phone.
Our next interview.
That means he can't talk wrestling.
Okay, I'm back now.
And if he's looking at the phone or the laptop and you're talking, you sound like the teacher from the Charlie Brown show.
Hey,
and he's not paying attention.
Just with Sarah Spain, I have to give her my attention when she says she's on her way.
Sarah Spain from Landslide coming in after you. But
man, I hadn't been to sleep, which is no big deal. We're used to that, We'd go days without sleeping if we had to, and you still have to, bring that 100%. But it wasn't just that, I was severely impaired, I should say. It was, and it wasn't my doing. Okay. It was, something was kind of snuck. Didn't realize, it was just, it was
Stephanie McMahon trying to take advantage of you.
No, but she was kind of flirty, and she was good looking too. But there's Triple H standing over there.
Right.
Dude. What are you going to do, right?
Yeah. I think they were an item by then.
Yeah,
I think so.
And Triple H was cool. I met his little nephew and stuff that night. But no, we were, we were pushing it. Put it that way, as far as rest and being
running
hungover.
on adrenaline.
Yeah, dude. I turned 3 shades of green the night before. Just it was pretty crazy.
You're like, why now?
No, it is what it is. You just take it and you deal with it, and try not to let anything show. I mean, I wasn't sick during the next day from 6 a.m. on, but you have that greasy feeling like a greasy pork sandwich in a dirty ashtray. just that you're on the edge of like
a
big hurl.
dirty ashtray with pork. That's quite the vision you
Weird
painted.
science.
So, survival of the sickest. So that's the next one, right?
Yeah.
And your last one. All right.
Yeah.
So let's hit that album, and then I'd love to, learn more about how you left, why you left, story behind that.
We started that album off at God, I can't remember the name of the studio off the top of my head, but it was in Maine. It was up in Maine.
Nice.
And it was a famous studio, and it was like on a farm.
I bet all of your albums were mastered in Maine at a place called Gateway. That everyone used to master it, that guy. Bob Ludwig.
I know who you're talking about.
Yes.
No, our very first one was done by Sterling. Something Sterling. He's famous. Same with Ludwig. Same era, same genre. In New York, and it just depends. You can get them mastered just about anywhere now.
Yeah, but a lot of people were coming to Maine for that guy. It's crazy, But so you recorded your fourth your fourth album in Maine.
Yeah, in Maine. That? We started it off there, and we were using a different producer than Bob Marlette, and so it was different. It was things were different. The band, I think, I can only speak for myself, but emotionally and intellectually, it kind of wasn't 100%. I had a lot of things going on, and but we were there and we were going to make the best of it. So I actually liked that record a lot. But so we ended up leaving Maine and deciding to do the album in Memphis at the producer's studio in Memphis.
Okay.
We figured we could, because by that time, you don't see your family a whole lot. You're trying to live with your family a little bit, and you're like, you're not separated by half the country, and
trying to find some balance.
Yeah,
as best you can.
Yeah, and my wife was knocked out. It was my first child. Yeah, our first child, my only child, and so it was like I said, intellectually and emotionally, it was a trying period, because all the other guys in the band, they all had kids, not all of them, but most of them had kids, 2, 3 kids, Right. I'd never had that, I waited my whole life and career to get to this certain points before ever doing that. And me and Amy got married in 2003. And we were married for, 1 year, and we decided, okay, let's do this. Let's have a baby. And we started having a baby, and, she was knocked up. And, it's just...
to put it lightly.
I don't, how does, you have kids, right?
Oh, yeah.
Do you have kids?
Yes, I have one.
You remember that first one, that first baby? And it's like, you go through I'm not speaking about the woman. I'm speaking about the father. You go through like a chemical or emotional change or something. It's like
instincts take in.
Yeah, you get
sure.
like uber protective.
Yeah, and
you start. I know some people call it nesting or something like that, where you're.
Oh, my kid forced me to get my shit together.
Yeah,
it gives you a great reason to.
Yeah, before. Yeah, exactly. And that's what kids are good for doing.
Yeah, straighten you out.
Yeah. So during that time, it was interesting. So we came back to Memphis and we did that. That record's done. It's in the can. And then during that time, Josie was wanting to do some acting and stuff, which is cool. I always supported that.
That's right. He was in a show. Someone asked me to ask you this. What was the name of the show that he was in? He was in a television show, correct?
Yeah, he was. He was in part of a series. He was also in Hustle and Flow. He was the gas station.
Yes,
the corner store guy.
I remember that.
Yeah, he was selling weed or something behind the counter. And he tells dude, "You better watch yourself." What was the name of that show? That TV show?
I don't know.
Wanted or no? I can't remember.
Yeah, I didn't think to look it up.
Sorry, Josie.
And sorry, Jimmy Fault, for asking me and not getting the right answer for you.
It was something like Wanted or something.
Okay.
But I mean, my point is, I've always supported and really wanted to help him, do that. Cause I, we would always talk about that. Me and him, when we watched movies and stuff, we would just like really pick it apart and actors and scripts and stuff like that. We were into that. We had a knack for that. I didn't personally want to be an actor or nothing like that, but I knew he did. And so, I used to help him rehearse his lines and stuff like that. All of us did. So it was just a timing where we came off of that record. It wasn't our strongest record, and I wanted to get right back into it and get together. And people were starting to move away to different states. People weren't living. I was like the only one left living in Memphis anymore. So now you've got to deal with that, things like that. They add up, and then you get into like a heated argument or something on a conference call, and that's just the only catalyst you need. You got, like I said, you're emotionally in a different place because you've got a kid coming and that's new to you. You
get more distractions as you guys grow up and have families.
It's something I can't really explain. I can only explain it when I look back on it now. I didn't know what was happening at that time. What my mind and changes that we're going through. But you get upset, you make a snap decision. Which I did, and I said, "Fuck it," I quit.
What was the final straw? What made this?
May 29th, 2005. Yeah, May 29th. Like I said, the catalyst, the final straw was like, we were on a conference call, and the last thing I remember, I don't want to put anybody's business out there, and it's it's in the past or whatever. But the catalyst, like you said, the straw was the conversation we were having. Was last I remember is the acting thing was going to take the band off the road for possibly up to 2 years.
Yeah, that's a big deal.
And and normally I would not let that affect me because it's like, well, if it happens,
right.
you can't, you don't want to predict if hell, I might even be alive tomorrow,
right.
That kind of thing. But after coming off a record that wasn't every 6 seconds or back into your system, you have that extra urgency to get right back in it and not let that momentum die.
And you don't want to hear that we might be off the road for 2 years.
Not then.
So that really kills all momentum.
Sure.
It has the potential. It has the potential. Yeah. But for me, as far as, that moment, it sent me over the edge, and some other words were transpired.
Sure.
Weren't really band related, but I just said, fuck it. I quit.
But obviously, I mean, we know from talking to you off the air, you and Josie still have a relationship. You guys are good.
Yes.
Everything's cool. So it's not like this was a relationship ending type thing.
No,
so,
I mean, well, for a while it was.
Sure.
God bless his son, Cody. May he rest in peace. He passed away a couple years ago.
Yeah.
In that zone, in that affliction zone. To his credit, he's always been the sweetest of the sweetest, super heart, superhero, super gentle guy. And everybody who knows him knows that too. But he's like a little spitting image of Josie.
Right.
That's his first child, his first boy, his first son.
Sure.
I'd seen the kid grow up from a grasshopper. He's, I know the kid, he was graduating high school. And so me and Josie didn't speak for like 7 years. We didn't talk, nothing.
And was it based from the acting, taking time off, or by this time is there just those little things that are building up?
It wasn't really, we weren't not talking because of what led up to the point where I said, fuck it, and called the label and the A&R guy and said, I'm quitting.
Right.
And he goes, are you sure you want to do this? Think about this. And I'm like, at that time I was still fuming. I'm like, yeah, fuck it. I don't care. You know? So that's, we weren't talking and stuff because I left,
Sure.
I'm sure he was pissed at me and, stuff like that. And the other guys were probably too. And they were like, fuck it, better off without him, probably or something. But that's all I know. I only know my side, of it.
But his son is integral in the reconnection.
Yeah. So he's graduating high school, and he sends me an invitation to come to his graduation. I believe it was in Mississippi or North, may have been around here, North Mississippi. And said, cool, I'm not going to miss that. So I go, and lo and behold, Josie and Kendra, his wife, and their new baby, and they're there, and we're all sitting in the bleachers in this little high school, fucking Mississippi basketball court gym.
Right.
And it was like we never missed a day apart,
Yeah, you guys were forced to say hello, and
Cody knew what he was doing, man.
Yeah.
He always knew how to do stuff like that, and he did it. And I was like, I see what you did there. Very, very slick, very clever, but very, very good. Very thank you.
And then,
that's an awesome story. And I've seen Josie post on Facebook about Cody and the fact that he had passed. And if I'm not mistaken, it was COVID related.
Yeah.
Really?
So that's I've seen those posts, and
that's tragic.
It's great that you bring him up in this light to show what an amazing kid he was.
Oh my gosh!
And I'm sure you're so grateful because now you have a good relationship with the old friend.
Right? Yeah. We stayed in touch ever since then, and would hang out, and he would pass through town, and we'd go have lunch or whatever, and just stayed in touch for. I would stay in touch with the other guys. Off and on, here and there, like Paul Crosby, Wayne Swinney, Dave, we would all talk. We wouldn't like hang out or anything like that, but, they moved forward. They did, they kept doing whatever they did. I'm the kind of guy, I don't really pay attention to, like if I'm not in a group anymore, no matter how much it's me, and I've got, I've even got the name tattooed in my skin, the size of my fucking arm.
Right.
I don't keep up with what they do, it's kind of like, you break up with a girlfriend or a wife, it's kind of common for the people who aren't together anymore to keep up with each other and stalk each other on Facebook or whatever. Right. I never did that, man. I don't know if it's because it was just too painful or too traumatic or what, but I never did that.
Yeah.
Well,
I mean, a huge part of your life was spent with these guys, and I mean, I can see that if you're moving on to other things, and you just kind of put it in the rearview mirror. It doesn't mean there's anger. It doesn't mean there's, anything like that. It's just you're going a different direction.
Just move on.
Yeah. It's a common thing with relationships and bands and stuff. You've got David Lee Roth and all those. You can name a million bands that went through the same thing.
Yep.
Lucky for them, though, they had two guitar players. So, and it was Wayne Swinney, so they don't really need a backup guitar player. I mean, it sounds better for recording. It's bigger, it's thicker. It's probably funner to watch live.
Yeah.
Unless you're just a stick in the mud and just stands there and play that. But that's not me.
That was not you. I will say that right out there because you were a hell of a performer.
For your last episode, I was digging through pictures of you, and yeah, man, you just mouth wide open, all over the place, everybody.
That's the time to do it, man. It's very therapeutical, man. You have rages, you have micro rages and micro angers and stuff like that within you that you don't even realize you have.
Yeah.
And you go to a concert, and whether you're in the audience watching it and releasing that, or you're on stage giving it, you're still releasing it. You're giving it it's always the same, man. That's why I connect with audiences so much.
So I want to bridge to post Saliva here, but I am interested in one last thing.
Sure.
What is it like when you leave a major label band in terms of, because now you're in essence business partners,
it's traumatic.
Part owners.
It's fucking life changing.
You got to get lawyers. How does that work? And then how does it work when it comes to your continued royalties? I mean, do you give up anything?
That's why you have a publishing deal separate from a.
So the publishing deal doesn't change.
No, the publishing deal. What you write, what you contribute. Like I said, we did it in percentages. Whether it's 25% of the music, or 10%, or 50%, or 100%. You could write all the music and get 100% of that composition. That's separate from vocal,
Gotcha.
from lyrical, though.
Okay.
Singers, man, they got it so good, man. That 50% of the pie is automatically lyrics. So if the singer is writing lyrics, then he automatically gets that 50.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
But
so-
that all stays intact, even if you say fuck it, and throat punch somebody
till the end of time, or unless somebody tries to steal it or ends up stealing it, or you get fucked off, you know.
Yeah.
Or you sell it. You can sell it.
You can sell it. Yeah.
So all these major acts are selling this shit for
Stupid.
millions.
Crazy.
Yeah.
It's you know, unless you're broke and you're desperate. Even if I was, I wouldn't do that. But that's just me. But yeah, to answer your question, no, there's no lawyers or anything involved per se. You know, you leave, and that's you know, you have all this shit that you have to go pick up and round up. You know, you've got all your equipment that you didn't think about.
Yeah.
That's in a storage facility somewhere in Memphis in the hood, and you know, you still got to go and ask your buddy to help you go get it out, and you lose a lot of shit, put it that way. But it's traumatic, man. It's emotionally it's very traumatic.
what a massive special part of your life that you're walking away from. Did you ever have second thoughts?
I never like sat back and just was like, oh man, I shouldn't have done that. You know, probably a moments, but the way I did, I think I may have said the way I did it, you know. I try not to be emotional when making a decision. Making an important decision or a snap judgment or a knee-jerk reaction, that's what I try not to do. And that's exactly what I did at that time, you know. I was still growing. I was, you know,
this
still
has
immature.
been 20 years ago.
Yeah.
So you're totally not the same person now that you were then.
No.
You know, 20 years is a long time to mature and change and grow.
You would hope.
You coming off the road, you got, you know, you still probably have chemicals floating around in your system. You know, you're not.
You got to reacclimate.
Yeah,
You're a civilian now, right?
Yeah, and it was hard. It was hard. I'll be the first to tell you, it was very, very hard to. I mean, I went straight back into, you know, doing shit jobs and stuff like that, labor jobs or whatever, warehouses or whatever. But you know, you can't go anywhere because once you're at that place, everywhere you go, people are always asking you and bringing stuff up.
Sure.
And, hey, how's so-and-so? And hey, tell so-and-so to call me.
Right.
You know, so it's like living that nightmare every day.
You can't get away from it.
You can't get away from it.
Yeah.
Constantly being reminded.
And we gave you 20 years before we started asking questions.
Yes, you did.
And we appreciate it. So let's use this opportunity now. Bridge to your next project.
Yep.
You know, God, years go by. It's like 2008 or something like that, and I'm doing. You know, I'm a stonemason, so I work with like granite and quartz and marble and shit like that.
Sure.
And I've been doing that for probably since 2007, 2006. So I left in 2005. By 2008, my buddy Mike Glenn, you know, who owns the Daisy and ran the Daisy for all my career, he calls me up and he said, "Hey, the boys in Egypt Central, who are friends of ours, they have a tour they need to do, and they were wondering if you could, you know, if you'd be interested in filling the spot, you know, playing guitar, second guitar." Rhythm guitar for them so they can go out and make money on this tour and, you know, knock this tour out. I said, yeah, fuck it. You know, I'll do it. And although we were friends and I knew that they were really huge regionally and arguably around the world and stuff, but, you know, definitely, absolutely in Memphis, you know, I knew that their shit was really good. And, but I'd never listened. And like, I'm not a big music listener. I'm really not. I mean, I like rap. I like hip hop. I like dirty South hip hop. I like certain types. I like all types of music, but I listen to certain types of music,
Sure.
you know. But I don't just like when I get in my car. Well, at least since 2005, I don't listen to a lot of music.
Yeah.
But like when I get in my car and drive around, like most people, I don't turn the fucking radio on.
Yeah.
They don't pop in a band or no. I just don't. I don't know why. burnt, just whatever. Fuck it. I don't care. But I know what I'm hearing when I hear it. And I know when something's good. But I don't just sit around and listen. There's no need,
Right.
What's the point, So
by this time you feel like you've been away from it enough to jump back into something?
now?
No. This story with the band that took you out.
No, Egypt. It was kind of a favor, to some friends.
How long did it last? Was it one tour? Was it longer than that?
We did a North American tour, America and Canada, with Disturbed. We were supporting Disturbed. Great guys.
Nice.
Fucking phenomenal band. Phenomenal gentlemen. So yeah, I did 4 months, 4 and something months.
Okay.
And when I first started, so I had to get their record and learn it real quick because like I said, I didn't know the record.
Mm-hmm.
I knew a few of their songs and their big hits, from like being around them and watching them, but I never watched them play a full set or anything like that. So I didn't know their pattern. I didn't know their shtick, on stage.
Right.
I knew they were impressing people. That's all I knew. And I knew that they were friends. So I agreed to do it. And I learned, I tried to cram that whole album in like, a few days and did that as far as I know, to my best of my ability and memory. Did that. Went out there, had a great tour, kicked a lot of ass.
Cool.
And that was it. Yeah.
Cool.
Nice.
Yeah.
And then we've got Evolve Through Scars.
Evolved Through Scars, yeah. So after Egypt Central, I was like totally done. I was like, fuck this. I'm not, because, I kind of left with a bad taste in my mouth,
I understand.
from that whole thing. But, I lost, there were certain equipments that came up, stolen from, because there was nobody, keeping an eye on it. Not saying anybody in the band did anything like that.
Right.
They didn't. They were great. But like I said, I didn't know their show,
There's not a musician on earth that hasn't said, fuck this, I'm done.
Yeah.
We've all done it. So
But that's the route I wanted to go. By then, my son was like probably 5 years old, 4 or 5 years old. I'm trying to honor being a father and a husband. I'm working the granite thing and whatnot. Yeah. And so a few years go by, I guess, and you'd have to look at the back of that record and find out what year that came out, because we were probably together maybe 3-4 years or something like that. But
if my eyes aren't playing tricks on me, it's 2012.
2012, yeah.
Yeah, I think that's right.
Mm-hmm. So, yeah, so a couple years off go by, and John Horn reaches out to me. He's from Tupelo, Mississippi.
Okay.
He's known in those parts for his music and his bands over the years. Great guy. His father, Michael Horn, great guy too. Such a sweet guy. He's a FedEx pilot, man. I miss that guy. I should reach out to him. But yeah, great guy. So he calls me up and says, hey, man, we need to get together. We need to do this, So I gave him a few of my songs that I had written, but I had laying around, and he loved them. We wanted to put them, I'm like, man, at first I was like, no, I'm not, I don't want to do it, Nothing against you. I just don't want to go down that road again. I'm done with bands. I'm done with trusting. It's hard enough to be in a marriage and trust, that one person, that husband or wife that you're with. Trusting five people, a 5-way marriage, then you got, that's not even including drugs or ego or anything like that.
Sure.
Those are all factors that rack it up tremendously. So I was like, no, I'm not going to do it. And eventually, dude, if anybody knows John Horn, he can sell an Ice Cube to an Eskimo, right? I mean, the guy's a salesman. He really is. He's charming. He's a salesman. He's a great singer, great front man. But he was, that's one thing he could do, man. He could really change your mind.
Yeah.
And along with Brian Kirk from Jackson, Tennessee, That sweetened it a lot because Brian's a sweetheart and he's a badass and he's very underrated. The guy deserves way more than he's ever gotten recognition-wise. The guy's a fucking monster, and a straight arrow too. Salt of the earth type guy. Doesn't do no drugs or no bullshit. Brian Kirk, man. So I eventually say, okay, fuck it, let's do it. So we did that, and we had a good time. We made a record here.
Nice.
And you were nice enough to bring us some CDs and sign them for us.
Sure.
Very cool. Yeah. Alex, go throw to Jeff's camera. Look at that.
Yeah,
that's awesome.
There's something there other than
Kevin Johnson did all the artwork.
Nice.
All the artwork that's through there is Kevin Johnson at Ramsey's Shadow Tattoos.
And there you are, yelling.
Yeah, of course.
On the back.
Chris is the most tamed person on the shot of the band.
It's crazy, man, and it's sad because John is no longer with us. May his soul rest in peace. This is Brian Kirk right here. This is Justin Perez, one of the best drummers I've ever fucking played with in my life, hands down. This is Bo Littlejohn. He's passed away, and John's passed away.
Wow.
Brian Kirk still lives in Jackson. This guy lives in Lafayette, Louisiana. He's playing with. He's got a bunch of projects, but he's active. He's out there on the scene. So we put this record together, and we go to Atlanta, which is Frank Beato or Kevin. What is his name? Beato. Beato was the producer, famous producer. Did oh fuck, man. Sorry, my memory. Cross. What's that band? Cross something.
What was his first name?
Crossfade. Thank you.
What was his first name? The producer?
Rick Beato. I think it's Rick.
Yes, I thought I heard that correctly. I love Rick Beato. He's got a great channel now.
Yeah. Oh, really?
Oh, yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, he's got an amazing, massive channel.
That's him.
So what was
it? Rick Beato.
Man, I wish we had more time because we have someone coming up in the studio that.
Right.
Go ahead, and Jeff, text her and tell her we're going to be a little late, but. Fuck, man. Well, we'll have you in season 4. How about that?
Yeah.
You're just a recurring guest at this point.
That's fine. I'm a revolving door. So, yeah, we did that. We recorded that with Rick Beato in Atlanta. And we ended up with Creed's old manager. And we got signed to fucking Warner Brothers, man. He signed us.
You jumped in, and now you're right back to a world that you were trying to get away from.
Yeah. Right. But what are you going to do, man? It's, I'll sleep when I'm dead. Right.
Sure.
It's rock and roll. But, so we got an independent deal through Warner Brothers, which is ultimately Warner Brothers. And, Cleo Cohen was there too. Stu Bergen and stuff like that. But, after a year or two or something, I asked him to tear it up, said, take us out of that contract. And he did. But we did. We signed it and whatever. And it was just one of those things where the industry was changing a lot. There was talk of all these different deals and stuff out there. And that wasn't, I didn't want to take the chance of getting locked in on something that I didn't know too much about.
Because then it becomes a long-term deal, right?
Yeah, I mean, I was just starting to see some things. I was starting to see some cracks, and
things you recognize, like, oh, I know what this is gonna do. I know where this is heading.
Yeah. It not excluding myself, I've made a lot of mistakes in my life and career, but I did ask them to cancel it, to tear it up. But we were signed to Warner Brothers too. Universal and Warner Brothers.
So before we wrap up, because we have no choice, unfortunately, but what does the future hold with you musically? Are you back into it? Are you
any chances of reunions?
I don't know.
With Josie?
I doubt it.
Yeah.
Not that.
But yeah, back to Jeff.
Well, we get
what are you
Josie
doing
in
now?
here and start talking to him. Who knows what kind of magic we could work.
Yeah. I mean, I'm always willing, if I'm real picky about who I play with.
Sure.
Yeah.
There's only.
So you're not playing right now at all?
No. I mean,
any desire to?
It depends.
If the situation was right.
Yeah, it always,
Like with
there's
me and
always
Jeff,
there.
you want to start a band?
Sure. I mean, the desire is always there. It's just, I have to be very, very picky about who the singer is, you know?
Yeah.
Right.
And after doing a few things, you know, what works.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, I like to stick with what works, what's been proven to work. But, you know, if that, you know, anything in the future, who the fuck knows?
Right.
You know, I'm game, but I'm not going to hold my breath.
Sure.
You know?
Well, that's what I was getting at. Are you open to it? You know, because there are just like you've already had times in your life where you said, I am done, not interested. But at least we know that if the right situation presents itself,
the right person,
we might see Chris DaBaldo out there again. So that's, that'd be awesome.
I would do it. Sure.
Let us know for sure.
Cool.
Right on.
Chris, thank you, man.
Thank
2
you.
full episodes. And we do appreciate it. It's the first time we do that.
Yeah.
And your time, you're very generous with your time. And we enjoyed getting to know you and thank you for letting us just ask any question that
no problem.
went into areas that were probably a little sensitive.
Hey, that helps me. It helps me heal, you know.
Yeah.
It's therapeutical.
Thank you, Amy, for showing up.
Yeah.
Good to meet you. Yes.
And you guys make sure to tell Ryder that we're always asking about him.
Do you want to make an appearance real quick?
Come on in here.
Yeah. Everyone meet Amy DaBaldo.
Right there.
Go. The better half, right?
Sweet.
That's right.
Keeping Chris in line.
It's a full-time job. Somebody's got to do it.
You know
Cool.
it. You know it.
All right, y'all. Well, thanks for hanging out. I hope you enjoyed our very first episode of the new season. Again, thanks to Chris DaBaldo for being here.
You're welcome. Thank you.
The rhythmsectionpod.com. That's your mainstay. We're on Facebook, Instagram,
Everywhere.
Yeah, go check it out. Go see a band.
Yeah.
I mean,
support local music. That's what we're here to do. And
y'all do a great job, by the way.
Thanks,
Thank
brother.
you.
We
Thank
appreciate
you.
that.
Yeah. So, but it's artists like you that what makes this podcast do its thing.
And I kept my word. I told y'all I would run it by Josie and let him know.
Sweet.
Yeah.
And he likes y'all.
That's awesome.
That's awesome. Y'all heard that, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm going to clip that out.
He says y'all are very cool and he likes what y'all do. So
Nice.
we're working on it.
Oh, let's
Sweet.
do it, man.
Let's do it. All right.
All right, y'all. Thanks for hanging out.
See you next time.
Have a good day.